This past summer, I was invited by Ksenia Gonchar's Big Dreams Children's Foundation to speak in front of kids who came to visit the United States from Russia. These were orphan kids, some of whom were also getting medical treatments. After meeting with the kids and seeing Ksenia's work, I decided that after Kickstarter, a portion of proceeds from each wheelchair sold will go to her foundation.
So I always wanted to help orphans, and I also felt for disabled people in Russia because I have a cousin who was hit by a truck at a young age, and then he was in coma for a long time, and then when he woke up to a hard reality where he was physically disabled, and after that his life was never the same. He could not get a job he wanted, and he couldn't reach his dreams anymore because in Russia, unfortunately, back then especially, he wanted to be a news anchor on the radio, and he went in for an interview, and they said they don't want to hire him because he looks funny. So after that, I decided that I really want to help disabled people because they should not be treated as any differently than any other person on the planet. When we started the foundation, we didn't have any specific country in mind where we wanted to help kids, and we still help kids in the United States and Argentina and Russia. But just this last few years, we started focusing more on this one specific orphanage outside of Moscow. It has about 200 kids with physical disabilities, and we just decided that since we're a small foundation, we don't really raise a lot of funds, but we use our funds very wisely, and nobody in our foundation is getting paid. We're all volunteers, so each dollar makes a big difference, and I really like how it's all going right now, where we just bring few kids at a time and make their life better. Since we just started doing it in 2011, it's been a 5-year span, and I can already see big changes in those kids' lives. So Stas, for example, he was born with no leg, and he was walking on crutches his whole life, and because of that he was getting serious spine problems, and he had to get spine surgeries almost every year. And of course, walking on crutches is not the most comfortable thing in the world, and all he needed was one prosthetic for his one leg, and we did that, and just as easy as it sounds, that it changed his life, I think, because now he can walk like most of us and use his arms and write. So I think sometimes it takes a very little thing to help someone. It's not as hard as a lot of people think. So when we first started our foundation, we partnered up with a group from Ohio that's called Project Orphan Outreach. So there were 2 boys that we helped to get prosthetics. One is Vlad, and he's now 23. He already graduated the orphanage and he lives on his own, which is a big accomplishment for someone who has been in the orphanage his whole life. So he's able to support himself. He has a fiance, and because of our prosthetics, he actually was able to do something that he was always dreaming about. He always wanted to do sports, and at the orphanage he wasn't able to do it, and he just had an education as an accountant. But after he got prosthetics, he was able to train and become a member of the Russian Paralympic curling team. And then another boy who is now 16, his name is Kolya. So when he came to the United States and got his prosthetic legs and was finally able to walk and get around, he realized that he can do anything he wants. Just this past year, he decided to try and walk up the Mount Everest with a group of other kids.